Tonight, the Trump administration is increasing its pressure on California schools as they continue to follow state law and allow transgender student athletes to compete in girls' sports. The Department of Justice is now threatening legal action against districts. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us in studio with what those threats mean and also how State Department of Education is responding.
Alex, in the last few hours, the State Department of Education sent a letter to school districts saying they would be responding to the DOJ on behalf of all districts in the state. A letter yesterday, the DOJ gave districts a deadline of June 9th to change their rules that allow transgender athletes in girls' sports. I spoke with a U.S. attorney who started this push while he was a state assembly member.
Look, this isn't a very complicated issue.
U.S. Attorney Bill Essayli has been critical about transgender student athletes participating in girls' sports and even introduced legislation earlier this year to reverse the California law that allows trans athletes to participate in sports aligned with their gender identity. Most recently, trans student athlete A.B. Hernandez won gold in 2 girls' track and field finals. Under a new CIF pilot policy, A.B. shared a podium with her cisgender competitor.
Women and girls have rights. They have rights to have their own sports teams, to compete on their own teams, and to win their own trophies.
In response on Monday, the Department of Justice sent this letter to California school districts within the California Interscholastic Federation, demanding them not to implement a CIF bylaw that would allow trans athletes in girls' sports. The letter says districts have until June 9th to comply or they'll face legal liability.
We've already gotten involved in one lawsuit against Riverside Unified School District. We're looking at another school district, which is Harupa Unified School District. And I hope the CIF officials take the letters very seriously because we mean business.
In response, the California Department of Education sent this letter to school districts Tuesday saying in part, the DOJ's assertions are not law and the letter cannot be an enforcement mechanism. They will respond to the DOJ by the deadline on behalf of all California public school districts. In a recent interview with ABC 10, the state's superintendent, Tony Thurmond, reiterated the state's focus on protecting trans students.
And we've made it clear, in California, we follow the law. And the law says that transgender athletes have the right to participate in these events. And we will continue to preserve that right and protect that right.
Among the school districts impacted by the DOJ's demand, the Sacramento City Unified School District confirmed with ABC 10 it has received the State Department of Education's letter and is waiting for further guidance.
I also reached out to the CIF for a response to the DOJ's letter, but I did not hear back in time for this story. A spokesperson with the governor's office says active transgender student athletes in the K-12 public school system is estimated to be in the single digits. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you. And tonight, we're also hearing from a West Sacramento student who shared the podium with A.B. Hernandez at the controversial track final. River City High School senior Brooke White took home second place in the girls' long jump. She stood alongside Hernandez on the podium. The two even shared a hug after the results were announced. Several people attended the meet in protest of Hernandez's participation. White says the political controversy and public scrutiny surrounding the meet made the experience more emotionally charged.
I don't think that she deserves this hate. A.B. Hernandez, she doesn't deserve any of the hate. I don't believe that any of us deserve that extra load of stress. I know that me personally, I got pretty choked up about it, just hearing the hate. How could a world be so cruel to a 16-year-old girl? I think that the way that CIF handled it was very graceful. They allowed her to compete and wear the same medal as I'm wearing right now, just as she deserves it.
While Hernandez herself has not publicly spoken, her mother did release a statement saying, "I see my child being attacked, not for wrongdoing, but simply for being who they are. My child has competed fairly in full compliance with California law and athletic policy."